Hello, welcome to my Kirby's Adventure 100% no major glitches beginner tutorial. So the idea behind this route is that it'll lack a lot of mixes and clips that some people find to be really difficult when starting out in this game in the main category. I will say personally, I don't think all of them are that difficult, and that with just a little bit of understanding and attempts, you should be able to get them without too much effort. But still, if you don't want to go through with those, I understand, and this will be hopefully a good alternative. Now, I will say World 1 is a lot better with Tornado. You do it right at the start with RNG manipulation, but if you're gonna skip past that, then fine. But let's get into it. So 3, 2, 1, start. Alright. On these, I personally, like all the beginning cutscenes, I like to press A and B rapidly to get rid of them. Anyway. Getting into it, we will be doing a bit of powerless movement in the first few levels because we don't have anything until we get to burning in level 3 of this world. So, just try to take your time to get used to the movement. When you slide off the top or the end of ledges, that boosts your speed. It's really cool, so try to get used to that. When you're going down a slope, that also speeds you up. So yeah, you'll see that happen a lot. Jump up here, crush this enemy. Oh, supposed to inhale that one. My fault. Now there's a quick kill on this mini-boss if you inhale these right. But if you can't do that, simply hitting him with just one double star and then waiting for him to throw his bomb is alright. On these goal games, you want to press A or B, or alternate between them to get yourself the lowest possible launch. That would be ideal. Now here, we will be taking, at least personally, I would do it. Take the damage on purpose to get through there. Okay. And now we'll get burning. Burning isn't really the best for speed. Like, it goes really fast, but you have all the cooldown on it, and when it starts up, you go back a little bit, I believe, on the ground at least. But it'll be decent enough for World 1. So when you enter this room, make sure you burning right at the start, or else the hot head might hit you. And if you feel like you need health, you can get that tomato there. Either do that, or prior to level 3 here, you'll want to soft reset, so that way you can just come back to the game with more health. Now you gotta wait for this guy to move out of the way. At least, as long as he's not right at the wall, it is fine. Oh my gosh, this game is wacky. Now here, you can choose between getting sword or needle. Personally, I prefer sword. Now, when you're starting off and you're doing this route, I don't really think it matters which you get, but I don't know. So going down to Wispy here, just gonna alternate hitting him. Don't really want to mash, but just like press it in a rhythm, and yeah, no problem. With Needle, it just stays out, so you just hold it. Now, after every boss, your health gets refilled, which is cool. So, yeah. You don't have to move all like that, but I just do it because I don't know. Now, drop sword here, and grab tornado here. I don't know why, apparently I forgot what level that was on my splits, somehow. But, yeah, just ignore that error. So, tornado, when you use this power, can't really control the duration of it, but you can control like how high it goes and what direction you go in. So, it'll take a little bit to get used to, and it has, as you'll see, it has a lot of things that go into controlling it, but just play with it some, try to get used to it. So, hitting this boss. Sometimes you'll get a bad pattern, and if the tornado is really good because you're invincible during pretty much all of the use of it. But if it wears off inside of the boss, though, you will get hurt at the very, very end. So be careful about that. So in this level, there is a clip. Now, you can totally go without it, that's fine, just be careful not to lose your power. But personally, I would recommend trying it at the least. It'll get you used to doing flips in this game. So the idea behind a flip is that you want to crouch as you run over this gap. And you want to be careful, because if you do that, and you fall too far in, because you have to float, if you fall down in there, you'll get stuck. So, if you were trying to do this with Tornado, you would jump to the right, start Tornado, but make sure you don't hold B, or else you will get stuck in the ceiling. Now, alternatively, if you want to do this the safe way, you can just float through here. It's just, you gotta be careful now, because that enemy will probably run into you. Like so. But if you get to the end, at least you can get your power back. So, whatever you want to do. That definitely skips a lot of this level and saves you a lot of time, though. And now you get to do the arena. Now, this would be the ideal pattern. I definitely took it slower, so it's easier to take in. Okay. Now the spots, all the spots where I use Tornado at are very intentional and rather important, I'd say, but if you have to take alternatives, at least try to pick something that'll make sense with where you'll land, because knowing where to start and stop each of them can be very crucial. Like, for example, in this one I messed up. You're supposed to just go straight off the edge and down here, so you don't pose any risk of getting hurt, but yeah. In this room, you can just press B entirely, no directions. As long as you press B without moving, you'll get through to the end, so that's pretty neat. Not really much room for error there, as long as you make sure you jump at the end. You do start off going to the left there, but that might be a little challenging. If it is, then just don't worry about it. Just go straight right. Try to find your way through there. This level does have this room coming up, which can be really complicated if you don't try to follow an exact path. So run up to this blue circle here or whatever, and then start your tornado. And stay low so that you fall down like that. And then as long as you did that, you should be able to get through here just fine. Now this room, gotta float up on these, wait for this one to get out of your way, up on them, up on this one, and then jump straight up, and then yeah. I like to slide off at the end, and then there we go. That's pretty much all War II. Now paint roller. Let's see, how will we approach paint roller? Well, first off, I like to get into the door like this, and then make sure you get off of the top of them, or at least make sure you're not covering them as you come out of your tornado. But yeah, essentially try to do something like that and it'll work. Jump right around here, tornado, slide, slide. Alright, so after all of World 2 with Tornado, we will be dropping it for the first time. Oh gosh, make sure you hold up as this room starts. Jump over this one, Tornado. Jump over this one, Tornado. Rise into the last one, and then you can drop it here. Jump to the right, go to the middle, up on that Sparky. Wait for this second one to fall, and inhale them. And this is an auto mix, so you can never fail it as long as you inhale the two Rappies. So now you have UFO. UFO is neat. You have 4 different attacks with UFO. If you charge it all the way, you get this beam, or that double star. If you just press it, you get this beam right here that does this. If you hold it for at least more than a second, you'll get these lasers. And if you charge it in the middle, you'll get a single star like that. That's all there is to it, but it'll take a bit to get used to. Just make sure you don't get hurt. Hold up, and this level starts. Up on that. Blade Knight. I like to inhale one of those so I can fall down without face planting. And get high jump. High jump does not work in the air, so make sure you use it in the ground. Jump over that one, high jump over these, high jump into that one, onto the door. I jump up here, door on the right, high jump into that enemy, up on that one, high jump up here, high jump, and there you go. I jump to the door. Now, personally, I like to do this arena without any powers. Some of the old routes would use high jump here, but I find it to be way easier to manage with no power, so... Entering... We're gonna start on the left side, we're gonna jump up and inhale the enemy up there. And then spit them into that one that spawns right there. There you go. So I take them out like that. I jump into this Blade Knight, so I I'll reduce some lag, but that didn't really work out so well, but you can get that tomato right there. It's like, the idea is to jump into them, reduce lag, and then go through the other enemies with your invincibility. But, yeah. Now, to start here, you can grab this candy on the very right. You don't really need it, though. Like, it would protect you in this room, but as long as you just keep running right, most of the time you will never get hit by any of these enemies. Sometimes one of these bird enemies will fly straight down at you, though, but if you see that, you can just inhale them. Inhale that chili before they do any attack, and then grab sword here. Stand, like, roughly around here with it, and inhale the both of them like that. Now wait for them to stop jumping so you can make sure you hit them. And there you go. A puff on this one, slide, hammer. Now, try to make sure you don't drop hammer at all, because if you do, it would be very troubling to have a backup. Slide, hammer. That'll take some getting used to with the timing on it, but yeah. If you feel like you need health, there's that tomato there. This room can be tricky. I jump and hammer that fireball enemy just because sometimes it'll rise and not directly like follow into you, but just be careful. When you get to this gap here, start flying to the left and then puff into the Blade Knight. Usually if it's retreating, it won't hit you, but just do that in case you don't feel like it's safe. In this room, you don't have to do anything fancy. I jump, hammer that one, stay on the right, hammer this one, jump and hammer that one. On Shine and Bright, when you have hammer, it's really nice because you get to take them out in 3 hits each. No problem. You can kind of spam it if you feel like it. And there you go. Alright. Okay, don't do that. I was being very foolish. That's something that may happen, so yeah, just try not to do that. Kill this UFO. Charge. Fire it in case that one comes at you. Like, don't try to throw down too much, but just like try to get out of the way. I'll take this path in this room and shoot at that ball as it falls down. Drop it. Inhale this enemy. Tornado back. Slide down, and yeah. This next level can be a little bit tricky, but ideally you should be able to get through it just fine. So let's start. Rise up here. Slide, slide, slide. Go straight up. Don't go to the left or right sides. Press tornado, and don't press any direction with that or else you might slide off into the water. Okay. Now in this room, there are spikes, so it can be a little scary to move through it. Just try to take it slow and safe. Now there is a certain pattern that you're trying to look for here. I actually got it. Now that might be difficult to get, but just try to do something similar to that, or like watch someone else run and see what they do. One of the top runs. Sometimes they will do something different though, where you can take out the one on the left all in one go at the start instead of just getting 3 hits on them. But yeah. Jump, tornado. If you land on the edge, you can slide. If not, don't worry. But tornado first thing you get in here, then get to the end of that, and then tornado, and do a second one. Personally, that's the way I like to pace myself, because otherwise you'll land right on that enemy there and drop it. Run to the second block you see on the ground here, and then jump and tornado. Up, slide, tornado. If you don't get through here smoothly, that's fine. Just make sure you take out the bomb. And make sure you hold left when you get to the end there, or else you might fall into the hole at the right. Personally, I don't know why, I like to jump like that. And then float. You can float before that, but sometimes, I don't know, the enemy would drop onto me. Slide, jump, tornado. 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 And more of that. Oh, okay. My spacing here isn't the best. You can drop it though at the end of the room. And then go up here and grab wheel. Now wheel is only used at this point. You can skip over that block, which is good for 2 reasons. If you can't outpace that, the thing that detonates, then you'll get stuck up there. And it's also just faster to skip it anyway. So, before we go into this room, I will say, if you watch top runs, you'll see that they try to inhale both of these enemies, but that is really complicated, so you don't really have to worry about it. Now, these 2 enemies are pretty laggy when they do their attacks, but we're just going to take Spark on purpose, so we're going to worry about combining them. Slide, inhale, drop. Spark, oh gosh, I was gonna say spark twice and then jump and spark. That way, if it comes at you, then you won't be able to risk getting hurt. Because like, if you jump and he goes at you, then obviously you'll go under. Otherwise, it covers the other pattern he'll do, where he'll just jump in place and then you'll start hitting him with spark that way. But if you get grabbed, that can be okay, I guess, as long as you're not gonna risk dying. Now, if you do need the soft reset, do so after the screen fades to black before Kirby comes out the door. I did it extra late, but that's just to show it's okay. So then you can go back in, and you'll be fine. If you wanted to reset between a level when you drop the power at the end, that's also like ideal if you need to do it, so that way you have full health. Because burning you'll want to use for the rest of this world, pretty much. Now this is all you have to do when you do that is hold B, and then press down and it'll automatically give you burning. So there shouldn't be any way to fail that unless you forget to hold it, which can happen, I suppose, if you're into the idea. Now wait to do this last one, wait until that one drops so you don't like run into it. And then make sure you drop burning before entering this room, or else this gets a little complicated. And this arena has an annoying pattern just because one of these enemies can be a bit random. That one there I grabbed. Oh, I fell. Oops. But otherwise, that's ideal there. Now jump and inhale this one, and that's just in case, because the enemies that fall from the sky are random in this room. So they can be really annoying like that. Sometimes they'll just kind of sneak up on you, I guess. Like, you gotta try your best to be careful about it. Jump to about here, burning, burning, burning. If you're gonna do a double one here, make sure you space it like such, just to be extra careful. Now, in this level, normally there would be a clip. It is one of the hardest ones to get, and you do need burning for it, but otherwise, if you're not gonna go for it, don't worry, I guess. In fact, you might not need burning at all for the rest of this room, actually, if you're not gonna worry. If you're gonna go a long way like this, you can grab fire at the end. That would actually be a lot better. And if you need any health, there's this pet fruit over here. This room is very laggy, so yeah, that's fun. Okay, I did not mean to do that. Yeah, if you ever inhale your star that you just dropped and another enemy at once, you'll get your own power back instead of the power of that enemy. Dang it. Okay. Then you can drop it up here. Slide. Alright. I am not perfect at this. Okay. Slide. You'll take out that. Slide at the top of this and jump over that. If you don't feel like you can do that, you can just slide off and inhale it, and you'll be fine. Puff into the... Okay, well, ideally try to puff into that enemy. Don't get hit by them. Alright, this is dumb. And then you can come up here again and grab more health if you need it, and go through the door. If you don't need that health, then high jump up to the door. And now we're going to be fighting Krakow. I'd try to go as straight up as possible without changing your direction because you'll go faster that way. And on some of these, you don't need to high jump as high as like the maximum distance, because some of them are a little lower. Like, these last two ones are lower. Okay. You can cancel your high jump after you hit something if you press T again, so ideally you want to try for that. You can wait for him to drop something and then get it out of the way. And then try to fall into this going towards the center, so that way you spend less time walking back. Okay, so the route here is going to be quite different if you don't want to get, tornado. Also, just try to be careful, like, float up like that. And slide here, float, slide. Drop, high jump, take stone, use stone. Slide. Now, I will say at this point, if you actually do want to take Tornado, you can grab it out of this museum right now. But assuming you don't want to take the time to get out of your way for it before going to the second level, then that's fine. This level isn't too difficult with Tornado. In fact, I think it's better, but if you were just going to go straight into it to save any bit of time on going to that door, you'll want to take Sword here. Make sure you get rid of that enemy. Now, old routes would use Ball, but personally I figure Ball is rather difficult to manage starting out. We will use Ball later, though, just for reference. And if you didn't get Sword there, you can get it here. Now with Sword, we are going to set up on this enemy similarly to how we did before, but try to keep a good spacing between the wall and you. Now, you don't need to take Hammer now, but just to make sure you can hit him. Okay. So hold up. You could grab high jump, but that's actually going to be a lot slower than just actually floating up. So we're just going to keep doing that. Jump into this current. I like to pop as soon as I pass the this part right here. Up. You can grab this wheel or one of these, but I don't know, I'll just take that one. Oops. Okay. We'll stop it here. And you can just keep running over these. Oh, not really. You can in the remake, but we're not gonna worry about that. Now in this room, you can either, gosh, you can either float down with this if you really feel like you need to. Or you can just, try to do this the hard way. If you do get hurt, you can grab this. As long as you're not going to die. If you are going to die, then, I don't know, just try to get it over with at the side of the room. Now this level, I kind of forgot to add in burning at the start, but that's fine. I'll fix the splits. I'll make these splits downloadable too if you want. But I'll fix them afterwards with all the notes on the splits for what power to take. So you want to jump halfway over these pits before you use burning. Speaking of which, if you are playing on the US version, then it will say Fireball, but it's still the same power. Slide at the end there. It will hurt you, but you'll be fine. So here, let's see. I did not mean to go up there, but yeah. This should be the general pattern you want to follow. So there you go. Now, this is, in my opinion, this is much more difficult than using Tornado here, but to get Tornado to this point is probably more difficult than using Ball, so we're going to try our best. So when you use Ball and you hold A, you'll bounce higher. Now, you're going to slide off here, and ideally you'll get the right speed when you do it before you enter a ball, but if not, like that, I don't think that was ideal. It's really tricky. Okay. Turn out a ball. Okay. If you're gonna fall into the pit, really try hard not to do that. And honestly, the whole thing with ball there is rather difficult to get used to, so you're definitely going to want to practice that room if you're going to be using ball there. But if you get to the end, you can just ball straight down here, which is the fastest way to get down here. And after the 5th enemy, you can turn out a ball and discard it. So if you didn't have Tornado yet, you'll want to grab it out of out of the museum, like we did it earlier, or at least I showed you earlier. So up here, oh, I dropped my A input. Sometimes you do that, but yeah. Oh, careful. If enemy comes at you, just kind of, I don't know. It's like, what I was gonna do, I was gonna Tornado over here, but there's these spikes, so that might be a bad idea. You're not gonna be ready for that, so I'll just take it slower. So coming up here, there's a clip. This is arguably the easiest clip in the game, but it is still very tricky to get used to, but it will save you a good amount of time. So ideally, like right here, this corner, where the roof and the slope meet, you can go through it. Oh, I actually didn't think I got it for some reason. Yeah, if you also line up, like, right here on this line, you usually get it. Now, the idea is that, you'll line the other slope up with Kirby's mouth. And go through the wall like that. And then you can float to the other side by staying under this line. If you go too low, you'll get stuck under the floor. If you go too high, you'll get stuck in the middle there, and you'll have to reset to get out. Now, I totally recommend that clip. I totally do, but if you don't do it, you gotta come in here and do this fight, which I will just show, which I believe should be doable with Tornado. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I mean, that might seem more worth it starting out, but still, I don't know. I personally recommend the clip, always. But the clip will take a while of practice, just saying. But whatever your choice is. Okay, jump here, slide, tornado, and then hold down and slide over the rest of these so you don't get hurt on the spikes. Basically, just tornado to the end. Alright. Now, Heavy Mole is no problem for tornado. You'll hit him 7 times or so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then 3 more times. And then just hold up. Okay. So this level, personally, when I was learning this, I found it to be one of the most difficult. You have to be really careful here to avoid all the enemies. Now, if you're gonna jump out, do this, then you'll wanna rise out of the water and oh wow, okay. I probably should have been prepared to handle that one. Oh, I guess that's my poor luck. I wanted to show this. Oh my gosh, I really wanted to show this with Tornado, but I don't know. I guess I'll come back to this and show. I don't know. If you do drop Tornado, I guess, you'll want to use Burning like this. I think it's harder than using Tornado. Oh my gosh, like for example. I don't know, this level is a pain, just try to be really careful with it. But that is literally why I'm saying that's literally why I wrote right there. There's a backup tornado in the next level, but I don't know. I guess I'll just say this: if you want to see how you do that level with tornado, just watch like other runs. I'll say that to save some time on doing this. Oh my gosh, please. Jump up high, then float. Now, if you want to make sure you grab this, you can just slide into it and float. If you want it. Jump, jump. Up into the bomb. Oh my gosh, please, inputs. Up into this one. Go into the middle room. Honestly, if you do drop tornado in the last level, it's not really that bad because you don't really use tornado in these rooms anyway. Walk all the way over here, slide. If that comes at you, grab it. If not, grab it at the end of the room, and then like tornado down here. At this point, you want to make sure you try to hold on to tornado for like the rest of this world, if possible. Oops, I did not need that extra one. I don't know why I did that, but don't do that. It somehow came out of me. Autopiloting. Be careful to not autopilot too much and press tornado when you don't need it. Okay. Slide, tornado, 1, 2, 3. Start rising after the third one, and you'll be able to get up here. Make sure you jump over that enemy. Jump to this one. Tornado. We're going to the left side because it reduces lag. all the enemies in here. You can tornado up and into the star. Now this room, to get through it, there's a few different things you can do, but personally I use this, and it may be tricky, but just hold A, and as soon as you get out of the water, press B, and don't press any directions at all. If you press any directions during this, it'll screw you up, and you will get hurt and drop tornado, which is not what we're looking for. So, A, B, keep holding A, by the way. Keep holding A, and wait till you jump out of the water, and then press B again. And that's how you make sure you get that every time. And obviously, when you jump out of the water again, press B, hold right. I say that, but alright. Tornado. Tornado. So this room has a clip, but we're going to ignore it. Simple. It is rather long though. You're gonna go this way, and you do have to be careful to not get hurt here. Yeah, be like really careful, because if you get hurt, you're gonna drop tornado right there on that into the spikes, and it'll get destroyed. If you don't feel comfortable, you can wait for that to go by. And there's more health to your left here, next to that Blade Knight. Oh my gosh, I actually thought I was in a safe spot. It is so tricky to tell exactly what spots are safe. Because, like, if you stand right here, you'll be safe, but whatever. So, yeah. This room is funny because there will be coconuts here that fall over your head, so you can get out of the way. If you get out of the way of that one and just float straight up, then you'll be fine. Tornado. Tornado. Alright. Oops. Don't start off this room with a tornado. Actually, fall into the water first and then use it. I don't know why I did that. Float up. You can stay a little close to this, like, cliff or whatever, but not too close, because then you'll run into that enemy. You can either puff into that one, or tornado into the waters. So this room can be a bit of a pain. Jump, tornado, up. Get out of the way of that enemy. There's actually like a few different ways you can approach that room. And I actually need to teach myself again how I'm supposed to do it. Because I've been mixed up myself on it, but... Yeah, so tornado through here. Careful not to fall down. In this room, you'll drop tornado for UFO, but it is very scary because all of these UFOs are jerks. So there's a potential chance you may have to go through here without any UFO at all. So be like really careful. When you start off into this room, oftentimes there will be tornadoes at your start. I mean, UFOs at the start, but not always. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna die. Oh my gosh. Not how I wanted that to go down at all. Yeah, so this room can be rough. If you have low health before coming in here... Because there is a health pickup in here, and I was hoping to grab that, but if you have low health before coming in here, then... Oh wow. And we have, no UFO. I'm actually gonna reset and show us how that's supposed to be done, because I prefer to do it with UFO. Yeah, that's rather unfortunate. Yeah, try to make sure something like that doesn't happen. You might get a little screwed over because the movements from the UFOs are all rather random. Ideally, you want to get one right at the start. And just literally charge, and anytime something like almost fire, not at random, but almost like instinctively as soon as you can see something coming at you, try to react to it. But yeah, if you needed it, there was that. Go to the bottom door, go to the left. Okay, yeah, so as you can see, with UFO, it'd be a lot better here. Beam at that, or laser, rather. Go through here. This arena with UFO is a little challenging, but not really. Okay, you can wait for him to swing. Sometimes you can get him early, but you can wait for him to swing if you're not going to feel confident on stopping that. Then you're going to get this one on the bottom, and this one on the top. There you go. Yeah. So, Meta Knight, Meta Knight is random in both his aggressiveness and how much he blocks. If you want, you can try to get an early hit up there at the top. After his sword flashes, then that's your cue for doing so. Whenever he comes straight down, I like to wait for him to do so, because if you try to hit him sometimes in the air before he comes down, he'll block it and get out of the way. So it's usually more guaranteed if you wait. That's a pretty decent Meta Knight. Could have blocked way more there. Alright. So getting to the last world here. We're almost at the end. Grab laser. Now, there's a clip here I forgot to mention. Personally, I would really recommend this one because these blocks are just, like, everywhere. And going through this room, having to clear all the blocks would be very tedious. And if you do want to do this, there's a way you can make it very safe, so try to go through like that. Just float through all of here. Yeah, you have to clear all of these blocks individually, but yeah, you can come back in bounds once you get here and just go to the end. And then you can drop laser. Pick up ice. Okay, don't... Gosh, I was trying to hit that one before that happened, but yeah, don't drop ice. Try not to do that. Oh my gosh, be careful with these enemies. If you do end up either dying or needing a power, then you can re-enter 7-1 and grab laser at the start for here. So when you come in here, there's a secret door right at the top. So like stand right about here and use ice. Okay, I messed that up. It's supposed to be the same deal as what I've done before, but you know, the same thing you do with sword unblockers, but try to space it better than me. Come in here, don't move at all. Because if you don't move at all, it'll set you up perfect. If they roll, then you can just jump, hammer, hammer, and then, yeah, follow up like that. This one, stand right here, lined up on the right side of this. If they jump at you, you will have to adjust, and that can be scary, but otherwise, most of the time you get the good pattern. That was... okay. Well, I was supposed to hit him before that, but that's also the ideal pattern. They can drop hammer before you go in here. Grab that one up, that reduces lag. Then you can go here. The reason I make sure I drop hammer before going to that room is because dropping your star will only induce more lag in that room. That, and you don't really need hammer leaving the soul. In some of the old routes, it would be held onto. But, I don't know, I don't really think it's necessary. Make sure you don't inhale these enemies, by the way. Like, unless you try to mix them for, like, tornado, but yeah, I'm not gonna really worry about that. This room can be a pain. Can be a big pain without tornado. I just gotta be really careful. And again, there's a tomato there at the top left. Slide down all these slopes. Oh my gosh, please. Alright. This room can be a very big pain. And if you really, really do want to, I totally forgot to mention it, there's Tornado right here. It'd be ideal to take it. Oh, not a mix though. Oops. If you could, and you want to, take Tornado here. I did not even write it in the notes, or on the splits. Yeah. Personally, I would do this. Finishing this world with, Tornado is ideal, but you gotta get through these rooms, which can be a little painful. Now, the first two rooms, they're random. These enemies are entirely random, but the rest of these rooms, they're always going to be in the same pattern, so you can always get around them, no matter what, as long as you stick to the same plan. Okay, don't do that. I was trying to slide into it at the right time, but if you don't slide, then you'll get hurt. In which case, you can probably pop on it, and that'll be fine. This one, you can just wait for him to get out of the way. And jump over him, too. Okay, I totally approached that in a much different manner than how you're supposed to, but the general idea is something like that. You can watch other runs to see it more clearly. So yeah. Now, if you do have Tornado, just use it like such and hit these two. Okay. If you don't have Tornado, inhale one of these bombs, and when you get into this room, run all the way to the right like this, and then use the bomb, and it'll kill the, it'll kill this wheelie in, one hit. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and drop Tornado here, just because this next room can be a bit complicated with it. That, and I was gonna show you how to do this with burning anyway, which you don't have right here, but I'm gonna jump over here, get to the top, slide off, inhale them like that, and just repeat that. That's the best way you can keep yourself safe. And this one, yeah, just do that. So, if you need help, again, there's another one up here. Now, I will say, personally, I think that the very last level is a pain, an absolute pain with burning. And I definitely prefer Tornado. But if you do get hurt in this level because of the spacing on these, that, yeah. Right, you can go straight over that, but you need very specific timing and spacing, so yeah, it can be really difficult. The rest of these are something like this. Okay, I'm glad I didn't fall into that one. That could happen. If you come up here, wait for that to fall down, otherwise you will get hurt. You can go wait for that. There's a tomato up there if you need that health. There's a lot of health in this level, actually. Okay, I forgot my spacing. Be careful. Jump up here. Burning. 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 Run. Burning. Make sure you go through all of them like that. Help on your left if you need that. Gosh. You can time that to get rid of that, or you can stand directly under it and fall. And that'll get you through there. Burning. Again, health up there. This room, I kind of forget how you do it. I'll be honest. Take it safe. Okay, that wasn't supposed to happen. Ideally, you want to pop on that, try not to get hit by what it throws, and then jump and go up here, but yeah. So no matter what you do, you have to fight King Dedede with Ball. So I am going to do manipulation here. It's at the very end. Might not go very well for you, but there's an entirely separate video that shows how to do this. I will link to it in the description, but the gist of this is that whenever you inhale or make contact with a surface and you see stars at all, that advances RNG. So you come up here and check. You saw that when I landed, a star popped out to my left, a star popped out to my right. That's what you want to see after you inhale the ball. You want to check to make sure a star pops out to your right, and then you go onto the door. Hold down, get right here, and start jumping. And as long as your RNG is set right, you should always get this pattern. Now, it'll take a while to get used to this, but that is ideal, and it saves you a lot more time over doing this fight most other ways. Now, if you want a completely casual way of doing that fight, like literally what I would do playing this game, like if I were a kid, or like if I was younger, I would go into 7-1 to grab Cutter and just spam Cutter at Dedede if you really don't want to do any manipulation and you want an easy power to fight him with, because almost every other power that's like close up, you'll get like inhaled by him, or he'll just ignore it. But you can throw Cutter at him from a distance and be fine, or a laser would work too probably. But anyway, on the orb here, the pattern is generally always the same, and you just want to spam with both A and B. Try your best. If that takes too long, you will die at the very end, but it shouldn't hopefully take that long. Now, the wizard here, he's also always has the same pattern, but on the first and fifth turns, the amount of time he'll spend before he exposes his weak point can vary. That and the side he'll appear on can vary, so it can be a little challenging to get the first and fifth ones. But gotta time it. Now, I like to stay as far away as possible on the first and fifth turn because it helps me time it better. Now, otherwise, make sure that you stay behind him on the other turns where he appears, because it's a lot easier to hit him from behind. He exposes his weak point a lot sooner behind himself than he does on the front, and it lags if he starts to throw his attack, so it can be really challenging to hit him. Anyway, here's the fifth turn. Watch out. I actually timed it right, that's great. The sixth one, you can get an early hit like that. You can get an early hit like that, which is great. But that is really hard to get sometimes, so if you miss it, try to stay grounded, and he'll fly to the bottom. He'll be upside down, so you'll have to jump and hit him. And timing ends on the last hit like that. So yeah. So hopefully this was good enough to give you an understanding of how to go about this route. I try to make things as simple and easy as possible. I did kind of forget a few things here and there, but generally, if you try your best to follow this, you should be able to get sub-hour with this route at some point with no difficult mixes and only a few clips. So hopefully this will help you get into the game more. So, alright. Thanks for watching, and I will link other things in the description to help you out.